My fiancé Syed, I'm pregnant with my ex-boyfriend baby. You should take his place and be the father. If you don't agree, let's call off the wedding. I replied, all right. The next day, I threw an extravagant baby shower and invited both sides of the family and even the ex-boyfriend's wife. When she came back and saw the scene in front of her, she nearly fainted. When she said, "Be the father of this baby for me," I almost thought she was joking. She wasn't. She spoke as if it were obvious I'd say yes. I nodded, calm, hiding the truth I already knew. Because an hour earlier, I'd accidentally overheard her on the phone. Her voice was low, relaxed, almost amused. "Don't worry, the idiot will say yes. He loves me blindly." Yeah, that idiot was me. So I played along. I let her cry about a mistake from the past. I let her squeeze my hand like she wanted me to feel sorry for her. I let her believe I was exactly the pathetic guy she thought I was. What she didn't know was that I wasn't planning to raise another man's child. I wasn't planning to fight or guilt-trip her either. That's not my style. She wanted to see how far my love would go. Fine. She was going to see it, just not in the way she expected. And by the time I was done, she would understand exactly how blind I really was. I'm Mark, 32, a pretty average guy if we're being honest. I work at a bank, I pay my bills on time, and I loved Sarah in the simple, steady way most people say they want, but rarely appreciate. I definitely wasn't the type who jumped from relationship to relationship. When I commit, I mean it. Sarah was 28, working a regular office job. Nothing extraordinary on the surface, but she talked in a way that made you feel like you mattered. I fell for it. I fell for that. Hard. I knew she had a past with David, her college boyfriend, but I never treated it like a threat. Everyone has history. I wasn't insecure about it, at least not until everything blew up. David was 34, married and supposedly out of the picture. I never cared much about him. He was just a name in one of Sarah's old stories, someone she used to love, but it's over now. I believed that. I believed her. That was my mistake. The whole mess started on a random weekday. I got off work early because a client meeting got cancelled. I thought it'd be nice to bring Sarah her favorite matcha cheesecake, surprise her a bit, maybe have dinner together. Nothing big, just something small to make her smile. That was the kind of boyfriend I was. I heard her call me easy to manipulate, saying I'd believe anything she told me. I froze. I just stopped in the hallway with the cheesecake in my hand, trying to process how casually she was calling me an idiot. She kept talking about a baby that clearly had nothing to do with me. She didn't sound guilty at all, more like she already had everything planned out. She kept talking. Mark never questions anything, and he just trusts whatever I say. That was the moment something in me switched off. I wasn't even angry at first. It just felt unreal, like I'd stumbled into something I wasn't meant to hear. Everything she'd told me before basically stopped mattering. I put the cheesecake down and walked in like I hadn't heard anything. I didn't say anything, I just let it sit. Sarah hugged me as if nothing happened. I stayed calm. She had no idea love doesn't blind me anymore, not like she thought. That day, while she laughed and talked about dinner, I already knew. She wasn't the only one who could play a part. That evening, Sarah asked if we could talk. She sat down across from me, trying too hard to look nervous. I already knew what was coming, so I just waited and kept a neutral face. She took a slow breath and said, "Mark, I'm pregnant." I didn't react much. I just looked at her like I was trying to process it. She took that as a sign that her plan was working. Then she added, It happened with David. It was a mistake. I didn't mean for it to happen. It was just the past messing with my head." She said it with the same practiced look she always used when she needed pity. She watched my face closely, waiting for a meltdown. I didn't give her one. I said quietly, "Okay, I'm listening." That made her relax a little. She moved closer and held my hand like she wanted to show how broken she was. "Mark, you love me, right? You won't leave me because of this," she said. "I'm scared. I don't know what to do." Her voice shook, but it was clearly put on. I didn't interrupt. I let her continue. She kept going. "I know I shouldn't have met David. I know it's wrong, but I was confused. I didn't think clearly. It wasn't some long affair. It was just one mistake, I swear." I nodded slowly, just to encourage her to keep talking. Then she finally said the part she was really trying to get to. "We can still fix this. We can still be a family," she said. Then she placed my hand on her stomach like that would convince me. You can be the father. You're the one who truly cares about me. You've always been there for me. She looked at me with a hopeful expression, waiting for me to say yes. I understood the game she was playing. She wanted to turn her cheating into a moment of weakness and use my feelings to cover the mess. I kept my tone soft. I understand. The past can be hard to let go of. I'm not here to abandon you. Her eyes lit up immediately, way too fast. She thought everything was settled. You mean you'll stay? She asked, already smiling. I'm here, I replied. We'll deal with it. That was all she needed to hear. She leaned on me and kept thanking me like everything was finally going her way. Honestly, I was just done at that point. She went to bed early, worn out from the act she was putting on. Once she fell asleep, I got up and sat at the dining table with my laptop. The first thing I did was search for a private investigator. I wanted everything on paper: dates, locations, photos, messages, anything that confirmed what I already knew. Not for myself, but because I wanted everyone involved to see what really happened. I found a PI named Justin. Straightforward profile, decent reviews, discreet. I emailed him the basic information: names, workplace, usual routines, the fact that she was still seeing David. He replied faster than I expected and said he would start the next morning. Then I looked up David's wife. Her name was Lona. I found her through his company's Facebook page. Her profile was clean and public enough to confirm it was her. She looked like someone who tried her best to live a normal life with a husband who clearly didn't deserve it. I wrote down her email but didn't send anything yet. I didn't rush it. I wanted everything clear so nobody could spin it later. Over the following days, I acted exactly like Sarah expected me to act. Calm, supportive, confused but trying my best. She clung to that. She kept telling me how grateful she was, how she didn't deserve someone as kind as me, and how she should have never let the past get in the way. I stayed neutral the entire time. While she was at work, the PI sent updates, photos of her meeting David, call logs, deleted messages, even recordings of her managing me until it all blew over. The PI's report just organized what I already knew. I saved everything. I also drafted an email to Lona, just a straightforward message. Hi, I believe we should talk. This concerns your husband and my fiancée. I didn't send it yet. I wanted to wait for the right moment. At home, she kept the same act going. She apologized non-stop, but always blamed it on her past or some vague excuse. Every time she said, "Thank you for not giving up on me," I nodded and stayed quiet. She thought silence meant acceptance. It didn't. It just meant I was almost done preparing. By Friday, everything was ready. Sarah had no clue. She walked around like she had won something. She didn't realize everything she'd said was about to be laid out in front of everyone. I didn't need revenge. I just needed the truth placed in the right room, in front of the right people. I didn't plan the baby shower to celebrate. It was to give her the audience she craved and to reveal the truth. It came from the simple fact that Sarah needed an audience. She had spent the whole week painting herself as a victim of one mistake, telling her friends she was lucky to have me, acting like we were starting some new chapter. If she wanted an audience, fine, I'd give her one. I set up the baby shower at my house instead, just a simple backyard setup with rented chairs and a basic sound system. Sarah didn't question it at all. She thought I was just trying to keep things intimate. I invited both sides of the family, her co-workers, my co-workers, a few mutual friends. For Lona, I sent a short message with one PI photo attached, nothing explicit, just enough to confirm the truth. This concerns your husband and my fiancé. I think you'll want to be here. She replied almost immediately. On the day of the event, Sarah walked around my living room greeting people like she was hosting a small community event. She kept placing her hand on her stomach like she was already showing, even though there was literally nothing to see. She introduced me as the man who stood by her no matter what. People gave me that sympathetic smile, the kind that says, "Poor guy." I let her have her moment. When everyone was seated, I tapped a glass with a spoon to get their attention. The room quieted down. Sarah stood next to me, holding my arm, thinking I was about to give a heartfelt speech about forgiveness or new beginnings. I kept my tone neutral. Thank you all for coming. Today is special, not because of me, but because Sarah is starting a new chapter, and because the real father of the baby deserves recognition too. Sarah froze for half a second, but she recovered quickly and laughed like she thought I was joking. I wasn't. So, I continued, let's congratulate Sarah and the actual father of the baby, David. The room went quiet. Everyone looked confused. Sarah grabbed my arm tightly and whispered, "Mark, what are you doing?" I didn't answer her. I hit play on my laptop. A short audio clip played through the speakers. Sarah's voice, clear, sharp, familiar. "Don't worry, he's predictable. He'll go along with whatever I say." A few people gasped. Some covered their mouths. Sarah stopped breathing for a second. She tried to reach for the laptop on the coffee table, but I stepped aside. Then Lona stood up from her seat. She didn't cry or yell, she just looked done. She said, loud enough for the room to hear, "So this is it. You've been meeting my husband behind my back and you still tried to play the victim using this past excuse?" Sarah didn't answer. She just shook her head repeatedly like that would undo the audio everyone just heard. I mirrored my laptop screen to the living room TV and clicked to the next photo. Timestamps, hotel lobbies, cafe parking lots, all neatly organized. Sarah tried to talk. "Mark, please, this isn't—" "I can explain." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't insult her. I didn't accuse her of anything. I just said, "You told me the past was hard to let go, but clearly you didn't try letting go at all." She reached for my hand, but I kept it at my side. She looked around, waiting for someone to defend her. Nobody moved. Lona walked past her and said, "So this is what you've been doing." Then she left. Now everyone sees what that actually looks like. Sarah covered her face, shaking, but no tears came out. She was too shocked to cry. I closed the laptop, thanked everyone for coming, and said, "This engagement is over, that's all." I walked out of the living room calmly, like finishing a meeting that ran longer than expected. Behind me, people started talking, and for the first time in weeks, I felt clear again. After the baby shower exploded the way it did, Sarah basically collapsed on the spot. She kept trying to talk, but nothing coherent came out. She wasn't crying because of heartbreak. She was crying because she finally realized I had known everything from the beginning. She realized every calm reaction I gave her was an act. That hit her harder than anything else. Her parents were furious. Not at me, at her. They kept asking her, "Why would you do this? Why would you drag him into this?" Her mother kept apologizing to me like she was trying to make up for something she couldn't fix. My parents didn't even look angry. They looked tired. My mom said, "Mark, you did what you had to do and that was it." Across the room, Lona was already on her phone. A few minutes later, I heard her say to someone, "Prepare the papers." David tried to follow her, but she shut him down immediately. "We're done," she told him. That's what happens when two liars get caught at once. Sarah tried approaching me once the room started clearing out. Her voice was small, like she was trying not to break again. "Mark, oh, please, can we talk? I'm begging you, I can explain everything." I kept my tone even. "There's nothing left to explain." She shook her head. "I made a mistake. I shouldn't have—" "You didn't make a mistake," I said. "You made a plan and you expected me to play along." She grabbed my arm, desperate. "But you love me. You always said—" I pulled my arm away. Not violently, just firmly. "Yeah, I loved you, and you used it like it was some kind of tool. My love isn't here to be exploited." She froze when I said that. I looked around the room, the decorations, the cake, the people leaving in awkward silence. Then I looked back at her and said, "The engagement is cancelled. I'm done." She dropped into a chair, speechless. I wasn't relieved or angry, just done, completely done. Once the trust is gone, the rest is easy to decide. I walked out of my house. I didn't need to see anything else. I already knew exactly how she felt. Shocked, embarrassed, and suddenly aware she'd pushed too far. Outside, the air felt lighter. I didn't have to deal with her lies anymore. The issue wasn't kindness. It's that she thought kindness meant I wouldn't notice anything. If there's a lesson here, it's pretty simple. Don't assume someone won't catch on just because they care about you. I walked away fine. She's the one who has to live with it.